You know, in Pakistan, some brand names are they're part of the family, right? They're everywhere. And when you think about two wheels on the road, for decades, there's really only one name that comes to mind.
Okay, I want you to just think about this number for a second. 87%.
That's it. That is the slice of the entire motorcycle market in Pakistan that belongs to just one company, Atlas Honda. So, what we're going to do today is dive into a recent financial report that really breaks down how on earth they pulled this off, and more importantly, what's coming next for them. Let's dig in.
All right, Section 1, the king of Pakistani roads. And you know, to really get Atlas Honda, you have to understand it's not just a bike. For millions of Pakistanis, it's an institution.
I mean, come on. If you're from Pakistan, you've definitely heard this. Man to Honda hi lawsan. I will only buy a Honda. This wasn't just some marketing tagline from back in 2004. No way. It became a part of the culture. It was like a promise, a declaration of trust in a brand that stood for reliability, for durability. And that simple phrase, man, it cemented Honda's place in the heart of the nation.
And that kind of trust, that cultural power, it translates directly into some serious financial muscle. So the report we're looking at today, it doesn't just call Atlas Honda, or ATLH as it's known on the stock exchange, a market leader. It actually calls it an alpha pick for 2026. Now, what does that mean? It's basically analysts speak for their number one choice, a company they think is going to outperform everyone else. So the big question is, how did they build this untouchable empire?
So let's look at why Honda dominates. Because let's be real, a number like 87%, that doesn't just happen by luck. It's decades of smart moves and perfect timing. And here's the crazy part. Their dominance isn't just holding steady, it's actually growing. You can see it right here in the data. While the total market for bikes goes up and down, that line showing Atlas Honda's share just keeps climbing. It's at an all-time high. So while everyone else is fighting for scraps, Honda's grip just gets stronger and stronger.
So how? Well, the report boils it down to a few major things. First, you've got that brand trust we mentioned. That's the foundation of everything. Then, you had a lot of Chinese competitors who basically got wiped out. They relied on imported parts, and when the currency took a nosedive, they just couldn't survive. Even a big name like Yamaha packed up and left. But here's the secret weapon: localization. For their classic 70cc bike, something like 95% of the parts are made right here in Pakistan. That means they're protected from all those currency problems that took out their competition. It's a massive advantage.
Okay, so market share is one piece of the puzzle, but the real story, the real power, is in the money. Let's look under the hood at the profits, power, and performance.
Get this. For the last 10 years, Atlas Honda has grown its profits by an average of 21%, every single year. That's not just a good run, that's unbelievably consistent performance. It shows they're masters at turning that huge market share into cold, hard cash.
And it's not slowing down, they're actually becoming more profitable. The report is forecasting a gross margin of 12.8% for 2026, which would be a record for them. So, what's a gross margin? It's basically how much profit they make on each and every bike they sell before things like admin costs. And why is it going up? Well, steel prices are down, they're making the bikes more efficiently, and people are starting to buy more expensive models.
Now, this next number is just wow. 41 billion rupees. And just to be clear, that's not their sales for a year or their profit, that's just cash sitting in the bank. That's their rainy day fund, their investment fund, their whatever they want fund. With that much cash on hand, they can handle pretty much any economic crisis you can throw at them.
So their position right now is rock solid, no question. But what about the road ahead? What does the future look like for ATL? Well, the report points to a really interesting change in the Pakistani rider. First, demand is growing in the big cities. Second, people are upgrading. There's a big shift towards the more powerful 100cc and 125cc bikes. And here's the kicker, even people who own cars are now buying these higher-end bikes just to run errands and save a ton on petrol. For Honda, this is fantastic news, because those bigger, more powerful bikes, they come with bigger profit margins. Okay, but what about the elephant in the room? Electric bikes. Is Honda about to get left behind? Well, according to their management, not so fast. They see electric as a long game, maybe a 5 or 10-year strategy. Yeah, they've dipped their toes in the water with their Icon e-scooter, but their main focus, their bread and butter, is still the petrol market. They're betting that for the next several years, especially with our charging infrastructure, petrol is still king. All right, let's switch gears and look at this from an investor's perspective.
And I have to say this very clearly, this is not financial advice, we're just explaining what the report says. But to get the full picture, you have to see how the analysts are valuing the company.
First, a quick definition. You're going to hear the term target price. What is it? Simple. It's just an analyst's best guess of where they think a stock's price might go in the future. It's an educated guess, a forecast. Definitely not a promise. Okay, so keeping that in mind, the report projects a potential total return of 46% by December 2026. Now, that number is made up of two things. They're forecasting a 39% jump in the stock price itself, and on top of that, an 8% return from dividends paid out to shareholders. So why do they think this is possible? Well, a big part of it comes down to the stock's valuation. Think of something called the PE ratio. It's like a price tag for a stock. And what the report is saying is that Atlas Honda's current price tag is actually a lot lower than its own average has been for the past 10 years. So the argument is that based on its own history, the stock looks like it might be undervalued right now.
But, and this is a big but, you always have to look at the risks, and the report lays them out pretty clearly. A big drop in the rupee could still cause problems. A new, strong competitor could show up. Or if the economy takes a really bad turn, sales could slow down. And of course, you can never rule out changes in government rules. These are the things you've got to watch out for.
So there you have it. Atlas Honda isn't just a company, it's a titan. Its market position is frankly almost unbelievable. It's rolling in cash, it's hugely profitable, and it's woven into the very fabric of Pakistani life. The real question isn't about where they've been, it's about where they're going. They own the present, no doubt about it. But with the electric future on the horizon, can the king of the road successfully navigate all the twists and turns that are definitely coming?